Welcome to Fire Walk with us. This week we're talking about the episode Slaves and Masters. I'm Paul.
I'm Dave.
And Justin.
So, a quick plot synopsis. James becomes a fugitive when Evelyn's husband is found murdered. James teams up with Donna to try to prove his innocence, while Evelyn is pressured by her abusive boyfriend Malcolm to continue their charade of playing the victims to James' doings. Back in Twin Peaks, Albert Rosenfeld arrives to deliver to Cooper and Truman the classified file on the fugitive Wyndham Earl and his motivations. Cooper asks Pete to help him in his chess moves to combat Earl's moves. Meanwhile, Catherine contacts Thomas Eckhart, who learns that Josie is now her maid and under her protection. Bobby and Shelley give their statement about Leo's rampage and disappearance. And also, we learned that Hank Jennings was the one who shot Leo. Truman questions Josie about the murder back in Seattle, while Cooper finally learns that it was Josie who shot him that night, or at least that's the current belief, finding a black coat in her laundry. At Wyndham Earl's cabin, he holds the half-witted Leo against his will with an electric collar and forcibly recruits Leo to be his henchman to help stalk Cooper. Big Ed and Norma finally consummate their relationship while Nadine finds out and reacts with indifference. Meanwhile, Ben continues reenacting the Civil War while Audrey, Bobby, Jerry, and Dr. Malcolm dress up in Civil War costumes to implement they implement the thing where they have the South win the Civil War to bring Ben back to reality. Fuck trying to say those words.
Yeah.
They're fucking difficult.
Economic scenario?
Maybe? I don't know. Who knows?
That's my guess.
Who gives a shit?
English is
So
weird.
we start off with a super close-up on some chess pieces to start the episode.
Yeah.
We see Evelyn in funeral garb, and her and Malcolm blame James for the murder of Jeffrey. Okay, so pretty early on there's a scene where Wyndham is playing his little lute.
Yeah,
yes.
He's a very decently talented flute player, and he's very enthused about flutes.
I love how he's just wearing, like, the long johns. He's such a scamp.
I honestly think he's kind of a little bit of a nut, as it is.
Crazy.
Lunatistic nut.
He's crazy, but he's, like, entertaining crazy, so that's why I'm calling him a scamp.
Well, entertaining crazy for a couple of seconds until he decides to beat Leo, get the shock collar onto him, and manipulately torture him to do his bidding.
I guess I could also kind of compare him to, like, the Riddler as well, kind of.
Kinda.
Just kinda.
So he puts a shock collar on Leo and feeds him gruel. Literal gruel.
Well, they need to give him something, I guess.
Ed and Norma have a conversation in bed. Nadine walks in and pulls the door off the hinges.
Yeah.
I love, she just casually walks in and is carrying the door. It's like,
Oh, whoops.
oh, what?
Sorry, I guess you need to fix that, but,
My favorite part is Nadine gets into bed next to them and she's like, I got disqualified for doing the airplane spin.
Only got second place. What a drag.
Cooper gets a cup of coffee and Pete comes in with the dry cleaning, where that allows Cooper to take a fiber sample from the black coat.
Yes. Also a glove.
Yes. Thomas calls Josie,
Yes.
now that she is aware that he is in the area.
Yes. She not too enthused.
And, oh, thank God, Ben is back on screen and I'm happy.
He's still crazy, though.
Yes, and that's when he's at his most entertaining. We find out that Audrey would gain control of her father's estate if he's declared incompetent. We cut back to the bar where James first met Evelyn, and we notice that there's a owl statue on the bar. Did either of you notice that?
no, I did not notice the owl statue.
There is. Evelyn and Donna have a chat. Malcolm takes Evelyn away and threatens Donna. We then find out that Pete Martell is a chess mastermind.
Yes, surprisingly enough.
And he is going to tutor Cooper.
I thought this was the last episode, but I guess it was this one.
Yeah. Shelley gets her job back at the diner,
Yes.
and Hank is going back to jail for attempted murder and numerous parole violations.
Hooray!
Thomas Eckhart shows up at the Martells' home, and I don't get why Catherine is such a bitch to Josie.
Nah. With all the stuff that happened with the mill, a couple other supposed things that leads into the
She
other
doesn't like the
sorts of stuff.
Chinese.
I thought she was... Is she Chinese? I thought...
She's Chinese.
Okay. I can never remember. No, but, like, my whole thing is, like, what did Josie do? Like, she
I
didn't...
don't think a super amount, just the simple fact that she worked just the tiniest bit with one person that led to all the stuff that Catherine had to deal with. It was enough for her to be like, okay, I'm going to make this person's life a living hell.
I guess. I don't know. Anyway, can Evelyn James in this whole angle just die already? What is the point of this story?
That would be nice. It's kind of a case of, we get the point of this, there needs to be a story for them, it's not interesting, please end it and move on.
Oh good, more Ben. Audrey dressed up as a Civil War maiden is just fantastic. There's just something inherently funny about that to me. I love the little play they put on to write Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Audrey and Bobby need more screen time together.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
There's something about those two on screen together that I just love.
I can understand that, but still kind of case of, God damn it, Bobby.
So, Ben... Ben has... Jacoby surrenders the North to Ben, and Ben faints after signing the Articles of Surrender. And I don't know why that's funny to me, but it just is. Ben seems to be back to normal.
Finally.
Seemingly.
I wish he was a Civil War general for the rest of the show. I just love it so much. Wyndham is such a scamp, as we've gone over.
Well, Scamp, and the fact that he has a supposed plan to go after Donna, Audrey, or Shelley.
Or all three, maybe.
Ugh.
Evelyn shoots Malcolm
Yes.
after Malcolm is about to murder James.
Yes, and Donna bursts in and is
Yes.
like, no, don't murder him.
So their current theory is that Josie shot Cooper, but we don't know why. So do you have any thoughts on why she might have done it?
Not particularly. The only one thing that comes to my mind is it might have been a mistake.
Okay. Who would she have been wanting to shoot then?
That's the question, I think.
Okay. Justin, you have any thoughts?
I have absolutely no idea
Okay.
currently.
Wyndham drops off a letter for Audrey, and Cooper finds a white mask and a tape recorder on his pillow that was left by Wyndham.
Yes.
And he pulls the mask up, and then the tape recorder starts playing.
Yeah. Mostly from what I heard from it, just being like, hi, I'm back. Make your move and play the game.
Pretty much. Like, it's taunting Cooper into making a mistake is the idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess Cooper wants to play it to a stalemate where no pieces of his get lost.
Yeah. Because
But
each
then-
piece that he loses, somebody dies.
Well,
Yes.
specifically, that was one of the things I had in mind, whether or not it was specifically explained. Remember from the last episode that when a pawn is taken, a person dies. Is that the same with all the pieces, or do different things happen depending on what pieces are taken away?
Well, we don't know that yet.
So that's supposedly a thing that might happen.
So I would argue that the logical assumption to make would be that a pawn is a relatively unimportant person, and then the more valuable the piece, the more important the person, like, to the town that would die.
So Audrey might be a queen or something.
I don't think Audrey would be that high up. Maybe like a bishop or a
Okay.
knight.
Something of higher standard. So
Yeah.
these
Maybe
kinds of
Harry
questions-
Truman is the queen.
He could be.
Maybe.
Or the king. Either one. So what did you two learn about Twin Peaks this week?
Wyndham is nuts.
Yes, he is.
Well, not just nuts, but manipulative and just, geez, don't want to deal with that guy.
No.
Yeah, it's unfortunate Leo has to deal with that guy. But
On the one hand, I'm mildly happy, but on the other hand, he probably doesn't really deserve it for all the bad stuff he did, but...
maybe. But he's just gonna end up getting used by Wyndham.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing with Leo. He kind of gets used by a whole bunch of people. Whether it's under his own decision or not, it's kind of left up in the air.
And he still seems to be kind of trying to recover himself.
From the stab wound or from the rest of everything
He's not very
else?
vocal.
Well, no, he's obviously got some kind of brain damage, and he was stabbed in the leg, and
Yeah.
I don't really know how good of care Bobby was giving him. Like,
Yeah, no, he was kind of concerned with other things.
and I mean, you know. So, what did y'all think of this episode?
I thought with most everything that sort of happened, it was fairly good with just continuing on the story, getting things moved along. Finally, that bloody story with James and Donna and all that is relatively over, hopefully. I'd be surprised if it continues on from there, but everything with that is done and they can supposedly move them on to something more interesting.
Get on with it.
The interesting thing that sort of came up for me was the scene with Ed, Nadine, and all of them that happened there. Where I agree that Nadine seemed to be somewhat indifferent to Ed being with her, but you gotta have to think that she's not completely okay with it. She did twist the head off of that trophy.
Well, okay, so Nadine also has super strength.
Still, even that motion of any sort of particular thing like that, she's not okay with it.
That's very possible.
Maybe a little bit of her old self is still there. Who knows?
Oh boy.
So, what did you think, Justin?
I like that last scene with, or that one scene with the mask. That was really cool.
Yeah, that's a really cool visual.
Yeah. Like that sort of mystery behind it. What's this mask doing here? And then the tape recorder playing right then.
Yeah.
Yeah, alrighty. So, who is your favorite character after this episode?
Nadine, as it sits, is definitely always hilarious to see. Just so innocent with most everything there. Maudrey is definitely good for all the work that she has to put in on things. And of course, Cooper, and like I said with the last time you asked, most everyone there still kind of sits good in my books.
I guess
I'm actually a little bit surprised with Pete that they decided to give him something additional to add to his character. And hopefully things turn out good for him, because the last thing I really want to see is something super bad happening to him.
Also depends on the episode too, I guess. Like, other characters are stronger in other episodes. James was stronger in last season a little bit. This season he's pretty weak.
Ugh.
Yeah, James really hasn't had anything interesting this season.
Not at all. No.
Yeah.
He's just the loner biker who's getting into trouble elsewhere, or not important to anything relevant.
So, who was your favorite character after this episode, Justin?
I really liked Ben Horn this episode.
Ben Horn, his Civil War reenactment.
And everyone else that was all dressed up for...
And winning the war for the South.
Yeah, that totally happened.
I'm just happy that that's somewhat over now.
Oh, I love it. So, do either of you have any questions for me?
So, what becomes of Ben Horn now?
Ben is gonna be mostly back to his normal self.
With just the occasional little twists of weirdness.
I mean, Ben was never completely normal.
Yeah, of course not.
But he is not going to be dressed up as a Civil War general anymore.
Okay, thankfully not that far.
Okay.
How far does the question of owl characters within this story go?
The owls?
Because the one particular thing, the last time we see Wyndham, is pulling out a photo that's sitting in a rack at the hotel there of owls.
Yes. So the owls are going to be important throughout the series.
Of course, but it's a question more of, is that just a teeny little thing relating to he knows something about the owls, or just that, oh look, owls are important in this series, pay attention to owls?
So, without spoiling anything too much, the concept of what the owls are is going to become very important in the next 5 or so episodes.
Blah.
That include the red traffic light?
You'll find
Or the ceiling fan?
I promise to tell you what my theory is on both of those at the end of season 2.
Okay. A theory.
Yes, I don't have David Lynch's here where we can ask him what it all means. And
No,
he
you
wouldn't
can't
tell
pick
you.
his brain right here and now.
Well, and he also
Yeah.
would never tell you.
Yeah, true.
He refuses to interpret any of his own work.
Meh.
Okay.
So the next episode we will be watching is called The Condemned Woman. Any idea what that might be about?
I don't know what I'm looking
Spoilers abound.
Sorry.
What was it? I'm not sure if that's Evelyn, the supposed character from James's story.
It could be.
It's the only one particular woman I could think of immediately. I think the only other person I could think of would be Josie, with all the stuff that's supposedly happening with her.
I guess
But
that
that's
makes
just
sense.
one. There's a whole bunch of other particular stories going on with it. Oh, I guess also the concern of Audrey, Donna, and Shelley being targets for Wyndham.
Yes. So,
Mm-hmm.
a couple of things that are going to happen in this episode to keep an eye out for.
Good to know.
Ed is going to propose to Norma.
That doesn't surprise me.
Audrey is going to be reunited with a handsome, wealthy admirer from her past. And Wyndham Earl is going to mail a poem to Audrey.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah, also, Josie is going to be forced to meet with Thomas Eckhart. And that encounter doesn't end well.
In general, or for one specific person?
You'll have to find out next week.
Yeah.
Next exciting episode of Twin Peaks.
Alrighty, so do either of you have anything left to add?
Some levity would be some decently nice, but they throw little bits of it in. But no, as it is, things are kind of heading downhill pretty darn quick.
Well, and we're also racing to the end of the season.
Not true.
Yeah, at a steady pace.
Yeah, we've only got, counting next episode, 1, 2, 3, 4,
What, like
5.
7-ish?
6-ish.
8? I don't know.
Yeah, 7 more episodes. So, things are going to start to pick up. Business about to pick up. Alrighty, so I think that's it for this week. I'm Paul.
I'm Dave.
And Justin.